All the moans.
All right, are we Lord?
I think, yep, we're going. All right, Project Ion, episode 9, featuring Shade Stevenson.
Shade Stevenson.
Back again. How are you doing, Shade?
I'm doing well. I'm actually going by Dylan now because of the whole email situation with my LinkedIn contacts. So
Yeah, tell us that story.
I think when I changed my YouTube name to be anonymous on here to Shade Stevenson, I didn't realize that would switch all of my Google accounts to have me being called Shade Stevenson. I first noticed it on my Gmail. I had an S in the corner as opposed to a D. And then when I started looking at all my automatic responses, it was hello, Shade. And so anyway, I have some of my more professional communications through Gmail. So I'm now going by Dylan. So,
okay,
yeah.
well, good.
I'm coming out.
Glad to have you on the show, Dylan. And then melting into the couch over there, Kyle Grimes. Throwing up deuces. Seeds.
Throwing up deuces.
So were you just moving stuff from one classroom to another all day?
Yeah. It was. I'm trying to rearrange in my new room to get, because the room's so small. So I'm trying to, move some stuff around to make room, just to have kids be able to breathe in there pretty much. But,
so the room you're moving into is smaller than the one
tiny,
that you have now?
It's probably maybe a little bit bigger than this room.
You're kidding.
No.
This is
wow.
like what is this, like a 16 by 20 or something?
It's maybe a little bit bigger than this. I do have a lab, obviously, attached.
Right.
The actual classroom is,
Oh, so this would have been the same room that I had chemistry in?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a small room.
Man, that seems it seemed normal when I was a kid, I guess. But
yeah. The nice thing is if you have like a, I don't know, three sections of chemistry or something, your class sizes are probably pretty small anyway. There's like a max of 15 kids in a class probably, so that'll help. But
so is it going to be chem and advanced chem or and anything else at all? Or?
Earth science
Okay.
I'm teaching this semester. The advanced chem, there's actually only one enrolled, so we're gonna kind of like
wing it.
No, we're gonna kind of like move her into like a regular chem and then just make her stuff harder, essentially. So she still gets the advanced chem credit, but
okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Excited. Get out of the middle school for a little while.
Yeah, it'll be a big change.
Yeah.
Moving on up.
Yeah.
Are you gonna open up your chemistry class with the Walter White color flames and all that?
Oh yeah.
No.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, apparently, I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to start over with the chem kids just because they haven't really had a whole lot.
Well, yeah. How tough of a situation.
Yeah,
too.
it's an awful deal, but
yeah.
My plan is just to kind of start from scratch and go on faster through some stuff that they know. And take our time on some other stuff, but they deserve to get out of there learning something anyway. It's probably it's obviously not going to be as good as what it was, but try my best. So.
Oh, you'll do fine.
Right.
Teach them some stoichiometry.
Yep.
That's
electron configurations.
There's a formula or something, I think.
Balanced equations. Yeah. Molar masses.
Right. Yeah, I remember. Gil. Wow.
You know what you need to do? You need to put a cell phone on vibrate up in the ceiling tiles.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And have call yourself.
That'd be great.
Just, drop little cues or little hints to line up with Heisenberg.
Yeah.
Grow out the goatee.
Yeah. Shave my head. Yeah.
Don't say anything about it.
Just don't acknowledge it.
What are we talking about?
I've never seen that show.
Yeah. Breaking what? That's funny.
Have you guys seen that one all the way through?
Yeah.
Breaking Bad. Yeah.
You?
Yep, I did. I think I got hooked on it maybe a year or two after it was out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think maybe I was one of those where I was pretty late to the party where I was able to watch the whole thing like on Netflix. Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, I was listening to a podcast today, and they were really raving about this series called Westworld. I've never seen it. Have you guys?
Oh yeah.
You've seen Westworld?
Yeah. Season 1 is like like Game of Thrones level.
Really?
Season 2 got off the rails, and I knew it would. But yeah, season 1, like I feel like they could have made season 1, which you just want me to go in like the background of it at all?
Yeah, well, I think I'm gonna start it, so don't spoil it.
But
I don't even know really what it's about. They just said it was really good.
Yeah, so it's basically like so it's like Disney World for adults. They basically have robots and AI in a western setting. So you can go there, you can rape and pillage, you can save the day. It's basically like an MMO.
Huh.
They drop you in an MMO, but you're actually in it. And the guns can't kill you, but you can kill the robots. So basically, it's just like this sweet like setting you can go into. Okay. And I thought they could have made like 3 or 4 seasons just doing that, and then season 2 they kind of went a different direction. So anyway, but yeah, I really like
It's on
season
Netflix,
1.
right?
HBO.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, on HBO. So
Okay. Huh.
I'll have to see it. Maybe just start an HBO to go trial and
Yeah.
binge it.
it's based off an old movie back in like the 80s, I think.
And it's called
so.
Westworld.
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, it does sound kind of cool.
I also been finishing up Frontier. I'm just about done with that. But Dylan doesn't like that one.
Just from the cover of it, looks like Aquaman.
It's pretty ballin'.
I'll have to try it out.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'll watch episode 1.
I haven't had a show that I've been into forever.
Yeah.
You seen the Ozarks?
No, I know.
Yeah,
I
you were
know.
telling me about that.
yeah.
That's sort of like Breaking Bad-ish.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Yeah, a little bit more, maybe a little bit more realistic, a little bit more gritty, but yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, I've just been falling back on like Star Trek reruns for ever. Be nice to find a new show, but
Yeah.
yep,
Lay in bed, can't sleep.
watching Star Trek. Yep, The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise. I'm not too huge of a fan of, and then the original series. I'm not too huge of a fan of, actually.
I don't think I've seen a full episode.
Yeah,
I don't even know if I've had the chance to, aside from.
Is that the one with Luke Skywalker or Captain Kirk?
yeah.
Oh man, Star Wars.
You probably, I don't know. Well, maybe not. You might not like Star Trek because there's a lot of mumbo jumbo in it. That's sort of, they try to dress it up and make it sound sciencey, you know.
Yeah.
But I
don't like that.
I suppose to a science aficionado, it would sound like a.
I'm not an
lot of crap.
aficionado, but I just don't like. I don't like science sitcoms or science movies for the layperson. That's what it just drives me nuts.
Mm-hmm. What bugs you about it?
I don't know. I don't think it's the actual program. I think it's the people who like it. It's kind of like I'm not talking about Star Trek.
Oh, really?
I was talking about Big Bang Theory.
Really? Oh, Big Bang Theory.
Oh yeah.
God, there was something else. Maybe it's not that big of a deal, I guess, if I can't remember what it was. Where I don't necessarily dislike it. I just like the people who like it.
Sublime, right?
Sublime, yeah, that's a good.
not
That's
like-
one. Yeah.
It's not that I hate Sublime. It's just I hate the people that like Sublime.
That's exactly correct. Yeah.
I could say that for all kinds of. I can kind of say that for Ghost almost anymore.
Yeah, I know it. It's
It's,
starting to come to that territory.
Yeah.
Ghost.
It's that.
Band.
Remember that band
Oh.
like 5 years ago that Kyle and I were really into? That was like they dressed up like a dark church service and stuff, and
I kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I feel like we caught it at the perfect time because we went and saw him live in Omaha, and it was still at like the club stage.
Yeah.
You know, there's like 1,000 people there or something.
Yeah.
Maybe is it
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. But it was still like a pretty legit production and everything. They had the
Yeah.
dope backdrop and everything, and the guys dressed up like the Pope and stuff.
I don't know if I'd feel safe at.
Oh, it was.
Yeah,
fine.
it was tame.
It was.
I've been to way worse. Yeah.
Man, that band that opened for him though, they were nuts.
Yep.
Oh, they were like heavy black metal.
Are you thinking of Tribulation?
Tribulation, yeah.
Tribulation, or however you
Whatever
say
it
it.
is,
Yeah. Swedish black metal.
Yep.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, they were wild.
Swedish black metal.
Well, yeah, the Ghost guys are from Sweden, I'm pretty sure, right? Or
Yeah,
at least
Sweden.
the main
Tobias.
creative Tobias Forge. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but I don't know. They're getting too big.
Yeah. Too mainstream.
Mm-hmm. I liked them a little bit 5 years ago. Not so much anymore. Too many lame wads are into them now. A direct quote from Kyle.
Yeah. Seeds.
I feel like I should just piss you guys off and like gift Tyler a Ghost T-shirt for
Oh,
Christmas or
man.
whatever you guys are into next. Just gift him a T-shirt.
The Swan. We should have had Tyler on.
Yeah, I wanted to have him on, but I guess he went back home.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, he's coming. He didn't want to stay all the way through until Christmas. He had a ugly sweater party back at a local establishment. So
Well, sure.
He gets partying 24/7. That's all he does, party.
well, you can't plant seed or
Yeah, I
harvest
guess.
it right
What
now.
else are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm. Well, why don't we get into some substance today, boys? Do you have any, we'll do a little question prompt here. Do you support the legalization
Jesus.
of marijuana?
Yeah.
Here's a little background. U.S. law currently bans the sale and possession of all forms of marijuana, but now states are, like Colorado and Washington, are legalizing it and regulating it contrary to federal law. So, it doesn't necessarily have to be a yes or a no position. Maybe it's a one with some more nuance.
I don't care what you do, as long as it doesn't hurt me or I have to pay for it. You can do whatever the heck you want. Don't care. Don't care if you want to marry a dude. Don't care if you want to marry a carrot. Don't care if you want to smoke catnip. Don't care if you want to take drugs, whatever, as long as I'm not paying for it and it doesn't hurt me. Now, obviously, are there some drugs that if you take, you could hurt me? Yes. So maybe they should be regulated, but I don't know if anyone's ever taken marijuana and gotten extremely violent.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I mean, we need a marijuana expert,
Yeah, aficionado.
right? But I don't think that that's just anecdotally. I don't think that that's the case. I mean, I don't think it's like. I think it's fairly of the spectrum of drugs and the levels of severity and inebriation and so forth. I think cannabis is pretty tame compared to some of the heavier stuff.
Yeah, I think it's hard to regulate something that naturally grows from the earth. Same thing with like, some other psychedelic plants and things like that, mushrooms. I have a problem with regulating natural resources, I guess, but that's my opinion, I suppose.
Well, when you say regulate, what do you like?
Or legal, or legislate, maybe is a better word.
So like making it illegal, is that what you're kind of getting at? Yeah. So if it was legal, then set it up so it was like, maybe they tax the sale of it or something, or have
Just like any other good.
Colorado or Washington or some of those states, they have legalized cannabis. They've set up shops and oversight and everything. And
tax it, give it back to the state.
Yeah.
Put it in schools.
I guess I don't really know. I've heard that Colorado has done something like that. They're funneling the tax revenue from the marijuana sales into different
Isn't that something?
programs. Yeah, and then because I think it's been a pretty big industry for them. Yeah.
Yeah, personally, I'm not gonna. I'm indifferent because I don't need weed, but like I don't care if you do. I suppose. I don't know. What about you, Shade?
Yeah, I kind of have the same, I guess, thought process as long as it doesn't hurt me and as long as I'm not paying for it. I don't know, like, when you compare it against alcohol is what kind of gets me, and I guess I don't know a like ton about it, but like when I've drank too much, like I can't imagine like if you smoke like the equivalent, like what are the
What are the effects, side
different
effects?
characteristics of it? And I guess I just feel like it would be almost the same thing, I guess.
Yeah, like your body will tell you if you've had enough. You don't need a
Because you don't
congressman
overdose on marijuana,
yeah.
right? So is it almost safer than alcohol in that sense, where alcohol you can pretty much get, alcohol poisoning?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't know how healthy it is to breathe
Yeah, right.
that
It's
stuff
not,
into your
yeah.
lungs.
It's
but-
not air.
right? Yeah, so it's obviously not natural. It's not water, so you shouldn't ingest it. But what's the same? I mean, it's the same argument with e-cigarettes right now. There's just not enough study done on it to determine the long-term effects, and I think there's obviously probably more on marijuana than there is on e-cigarettes, but I think it's pretty conclusive that regular cigarettes are by far worse than marijuana or e-cigarettes for sure, but I don't know, still doesn't make the other options healthy, but
Yeah, I mean, because alcohol is obviously not healthy
Right.
at all. So to me, I think, it should be. I mean, I would personally think it would be fine to legalize, but yeah,
And to me, I feel like the floodgates are open now that some states have it recreationally legalized, and because the thing is, how can you be like, say, in California, for example, and it's perfectly legal, and then you like walk across to the other
Yeah.
side of Lake Tahoe or
Yeah.
something, you know what I mean? And it's like 10 years
Yeah.
in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Fast forward about 10 years,
Yeah.
maybe less,
Right.
depending on.
Well, because Iowa, I think, I haven't really studied up on this, but I think they've opened it up for
Medical,
medical
yeah.
only, and they've got a handful of distribution centers or something
Yep.
around the state. And of course, it's heavily regulated and all that by the state, but I don't know. I mean, there's a whole medical end of everything
Oh, sure.
too that's tied to it.
Sure.
And, I've heard 1,000 stories about, well, my kid had epilepsy or something, and then a
Yep.
couple of drops of cannabis oil or something fix their problems. I mean, like, if it's better for somebody than a pharmaceutical,
Well, yeah.
yeah, I mean, it seems pretty immoral to deny people
Yep.
that.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yep. I don't know. I mean, I think the justifications to keep it illegal are getting undermined.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
more and more as time goes by. But
What else
Yep.
we got?
do you support Common Core National
Oh
Standard?
my God.
Hey, it popped up on
Oh,
here.
yeah. Okay.
I couldn't help it.
Yeah. As long as they're not set by the state of Texas, then yes, I do.
So, yeah, the position there would be you want to have your standards actually be standardized,
Yeah.
right? So, you think then? So, would your position be like the federal? They set that at the federal level then, so it's uniform across all 50 states.
Yep. I totally agree with that. It should be.
Is that more an educator position of yours, or is that sort of personal, or maybe it's hard to tell the difference?
Probably a little both.
Yeah.
Jeez, trying to think of an example. Oh, I guess there's so much misinformation, fake news, hashtag, out there that oh man, it's hard to put it in like words because everybody has their own beliefs, obviously.
Yeah.
And you're going to choose to teach what you subscribe to. And the problem is there's no real consequence if you don't teach what you're supposed to, you know? I mean, let's just say we got new standards this year for science, and if I totally skipped evolution, I mean, I could just say I didn't have time for it or whatever, and we'd move on. But I guess that's where I have a problem with it, is the accountability of what teachers are teaching, and are they actually teaching it? Because you could have evolution and genetics and stuff in the Common Core. It doesn't mean every teacher's going to do it, but
Yeah.
it should. I mean,
So, yeah, I mean, so it's sort of an implementation
Yeah.
issue for you too, then?
yeah, it's not so much the idea that everybody's teaching everything. It's the idea of holding teachers accountable that they are doing it. They're exposing kids to what they need to see, so need
Yeah.
to listen to.
And here's another question on that. Like, is the frontier for the, like the battlegrounds as far as where and how we should have standards, is it primarily in the science realm versus, so it would be like,
Yeah.
where science is at odds with maybe somebody's religious beliefs
Yeah,
or
I
something?
think so. Climate change is a big one, obviously, and that's not really religious, but evolution would be the other one. And I think really, because you don't hear any controversy in math. For example, I mean,
yeah, that was just
are we
what I was
gonna-
going to say.
we're gonna teach Pythagorean theorem or not?
Yeah.
'Cause I don't know. It's fake
Yeah.
news.
Right,
You know, it's a hoax invented by the Chinese.
right. Nobody's at home bitching about like Shakespeare in
Yeah.
English class
Yeah.
or something, right?
No, so I think you're right though. It's primarily in the sciences, but
Yeah.
the thing is when you when you get out of school, if you get out of high school and you go to college, I mean, you take a class and that's what you're expected to learn. It's not, there's no subjectivity about it. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get how people can ignore facts, I guess, is my concern, but I don't know.
Well, how would you respond to somebody coming back to that and saying, well, okay, well, if some state or some locality or something wants to choose what standards they follow or what they teach in their schools, if there's that much of a net difference in the product from, the kids that are produced in that
sure.
state versus one where they are teaching evolution or they are teaching climate change, that sort of thing, like, would it just sort of settle itself eventually? Or, I mean, maybe the population is like, well, they're stupid in such and such a state, so I'm not going to live there.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I think it'd take way too much time for that to settle itself, to work itself out. I think we're in a kind of I don't want to say like a threat level midnight or whatever, office reference there. Remember that episode?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the villain's name. The gold face.
Yeah.
Jim.
God, that's
Ready, set. I can't remember what the word was.
I don't even remember what I was talking about, to be honest with you.
Federal
Oh, yeah.
standards,
Okay.
v. state.
No, I think the effects of climate change and I'm trying to be politically correct here, other big issues, without getting specific, are more imminent than whether this state's producing kids who are more fluent in this subject or not. So I think the Earth is going to look a lot different in 200 years, and I think what you were talking about, where it kind of just evens itself out, I think that will take a heck of a lot longer.
Maybe longer than what we have,
Yeah,
right? So the risk would be, if you've got millions of kids that are coming out of public schools that think climate change is a hoax, for example, then they're going to be less likely to
do something about it.
about it. Yeah. I suppose that's fair.
It's just like, I mean, it'd just be like training doctors. I mean, if you don't train doctors, I mean, your species isn't going to exist much longer. It's the same thing with being fluent in science, in my opinion, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, we just start at such an elementary level.
Yeah. What was it? As you guys think back to your public ed science education, what stands out to you the most? Like maybe a high school class or a middle school
Jeez.
thing. For me, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but for me, it was probably biology. Learning about, because you touched on so much different things in biology.
Yeah, it was just that's a huge science.
Yeah.
I mean, to teach biology in 1 year is like trying to, I don't know, go to the moon and back in a day. But it's such a huge thing. But yeah, I actually struggled in that class, just because I wasn't good with memorization. I wasn't. It was so much information that it was overwhelming, especially as a sophomore. I mean, shoot, you're like 16 years old trying to digest all that stuff.
This is a peripherin.
Yeah.
This is a cilinerate.
Pele or whatever. Yeah.
This is an annelid.
Yeah. Echinodermata.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was so much of it was kind of abstract because like you're learning about the parts of a cell or something, all of that jazz. It was pretty gnarly. How about you, Dylan?
I think it was biology who actually watched this, but Inconvenient Truth.
Oh yeah.
Brought in Gore's film.
Yep. I showed that. I showed that in 8th grade. Well, I used to anyway, every year.
Yep. I think that had the most, I guess, impact. 'Cause I was kind of spacey for the rest of it. So.
Yeah.
But when they brought in the movies, I typically
attention,
so.
Yeah. There's a Inconvenient Truth Part 2 out. I haven't seen it.
I haven't either. Yeah. I wouldn't mind rewatching the first one.
The even more inconvenient.
Yeah.
Man,
it's too bad that that's really kind of a meme now.
What?
Like in it, like Al Gore and like South Park pretty much is responsible.
Yeah.
They actually made an episode that kind of, sort of made it right, because it was actually just recently they made an episode where Mamber Pig came back, but he was real this time. So it was kind of like a play on climate change. Like Mamber Pig wasn't real before.
I thought he was real in the first one though. I thought they went in the cave and eating people.
No, that was when they found the. Remember when Cartman ate all that fake gold? Yeah.
That's the second episode?
No, that's the first one.
But I thought Man Bear Pig was actually in that one. No,
I don't think so. I think it was Al Gore dressed up as Man Bear Pig.
Okay.
Yeah. And then in the second one, like Man Bear Pig comes and just kills everybody. Like he's just biting people's heads off and everything.
Yeah, I've seen that one too.
Oh man, it's funny.
Man. All right. Well, should producers be required to label genetically engineered foods?
Oh, jeez.
GMOs.
No.
So here's currently GMO foods in the United States are not classified differently by the FDA and do not require labeling. Although no reports of ill effects from GMO foods have been documented.
There you go. That's all you need.
Advocacy groups such as Greenpeace and the Organic Consumers Association argue that past studies cannot be trusted because they were sponsored by pro-GMO companies and do not measure the long-term effects on humans, the environment, and nature. Opponents argue that labeling adds an unfounded stigma over organic foods and that if a nutritional or allergenic difference were found, current FDA regulations would already require a label. So I need somebody to walk me through some of this.
Yeah.
That knows what. So a GMO, just genetically modified organism. Yeah. So if you got like an apple orchard or something and you like cross pollinate different apples or something and you get a different apple than what you started with. I mean, are we getting into what constitutes a GMO?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know a whole lot about it, but when people hear GMOs, they think of like these
a mad scientist.
Yeah, and a deadly virus
cooking
that
something
he's,
up in a lab
that he's injecting into
Like,
your fruit and
making
vegetables.
a Frankenstein banana
Yeah,
or something.
yeah. And it is, I mean, I think it's all about yield, really, is why they use them to get better yields and, a better harvest,
Oh,
obviously.
like on the farm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because right, that's huge. I think because
Non-GMO corn or whatever.
well, yeah, talk to a farmer and they say 180 bushel corn 20 years ago was God, I can't believe it's so much. And now if it's like under 200, you're kind of thinking, oh, geez, I wish it had a little bit better of a year, you know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, like they make the seeds that can grow in sand practically.
Yeah, and what's wrong with that? I mean, I don't know. The plant's not any different, in my opinion. I don't think, anyway. I shouldn't claim I know all this, but I don't think the plant is any different. I think it's just what they use or what they reproduce, I guess, with the seed or like you said, what it or how it grows in different environments. I think that's all they use it for.
Well,
But I don't know.
I think I kind of remember learning something about this at some juncture where people were, because I think maybe in the grain universe they make different kinds of seeds that are resistant to the Roundup or like the Roundup is the herbicide, right?
Yeah.
So
Weed killer.
For bugs and stuff too. So like a pesticide. So yeah, they can like spray the fields with all the chemicals and that and the stuff. It won't hurt the crop and so forth. So yeah, I wonder if that plays into it somehow.
I would assume, I mean, it'd almost have to.
Yeah.
But, just by having family that are farmers, and I guess I did some rock picking last summer. It's amazing how crops can grow and like just what. I mean, you wouldn't think twice about planting anything in some of that stuff. I mean, you're right. It's like sand, and you can still get, a yield out of it. So,
right.
I mean, I don't get the gripe, but
well, how's it different than? I mean, it's just artificial selection, right?
Yeah,
like how's it different than taking a dog or something and like making a labradoodle, rather than a Labrador and a poodle. You know what I mean?
Exactly right.
I mean,
it's artificial selection is a good term.
Probably just one of those uneasy things that people think that it's so widespread, it'd probably be too late as soon as we do find out that something's going on. Like, oh shoot, 80 years ago.
Here's the thing though, people. Like, nobody has survived life so far.
Yeah.
So no matter what happens, like you're gonna get cancer, you're gonna have a heart attack or something.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of when. So I don't know. GMOs are pretty low on my list of things to worry about. I don't know about you guys, but
chemtrails are way up there.
Ooh, yeah, conspiracy theories.
When I was saying as far as it'd be too late by the time we know it, I was thinking as like our species as a whole.
Oh yeah.
But there would be warning signs, I'd imagine.
Yeah, we're due for a plague, I think. I think we need one.
So,
God, that'd be so awesome.
Like another round of
like
the Black Death or something.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome to me, Kyle.
Just need something to happen. Nothing's happened in a long time.
I think some sort of like disease outbreak. I mean, think how many third world, densely populated parts of the third world there are.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember you guys remember that tsunami that hit?
Oh yeah.
Like India and
Malaysia
and Philippines and that. They were talking like, oh God, there's going to be so much standing water all over the place. They have huge malaria outbreaks and that. But I can't remember if that happened or not.
Well, if we don't remember, it probably wasn't that big of a deal, but I think the last scare here in the last 10 years was the Ebola stuff.
Right.
But even that wasn't a couple hundred cases in the United
Yeah.
States, maybe.
I don't even know if it was that much. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it hardly. It seemed like a big nothing burger because there was like that one guy in Omaha or something,
Yeah.
and he showed up and like,
That was right around the time my dad had his stroke. And
really?
we went to the hospital that he was there.
oh, you were at
Yeah.
the Ebola guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was the wrong hospital. So we backtracked and went to where my dad actually was. But we showed up first at the Ebola hospital. There was like a ton of security and stuff.
Wow.
It was kind of nuts. But
Yeah, I don't know much about Ebola, but I remember reading about it. And isn't it transmitted by like fluid or something?
Yeah.
It's not like it's an airborne
right.
thing,
Yeah, it's
like
fluid. So,
like a cold or the flu or
Right.
something. But I remember the crazy prep people were just like, ugh, it's gone airborne. The government isn't telling us. So get ready.
Just went airborne out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Ebola decided to go airborne.
probably gone airborne. We don't know.
Oh, ouch.
Ooh, that was a good
Yeah,
one.
right in the mic,
That the-
too.
Is that the sternum?
That's
or-
the sternum. yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Yep.
my sternum pops all
It's
the
his
time.
Mr. Hansen syndrome.
Oh, man.
Now that he's
Jeez.
Mr. Hansen.
Yep.
Look at melting into the couch.
What? I'm comfortable.
Kyle used to make, okay, here's the thing. Half-Thor Bjornsson
Oh,
is like
yeah.
6'9", 400 pounds. Kyle back in the day used to make him look like a ballerina.
Yeah, seeds.
He walked around with like a constant erection,
Bet.
dragged his nuts around. He had to have a flatbed trailer to haul his nuts
Oh,
around.
my gosh.
And now he looks like Mr. Mackey from South Park. And that's what a career in public ad will do. to
Yeah.
you. Good.
Waste you away. Oh, you sus.
All right. Jordan v. Kareem.
Okay.
Shade.
Oh, God.
Jordan v. Kareem.
That's Jordan all day long.
Yeah, I'll take Jordan.
Jordan v. anybody. Jordan.
I'll
Well, okay. In that GOAT discussion, what things do you put the most weight on? Is like what factors?
competition is huge.
So yeah, like who they're going up against.
Yep. I think that basketball, like almost everything, is through the power of I guess survival of the fittest. I believe that the offenses, the defenses, the game style, everything with analytics, getting really fine tuned on the best way to play. So I feel like the player that has dominated in that type of era would be better than the player that dominated in the last. So that won't always be true because, the best player ever will be 30 feet tall and he can just grab the basketball on one end and drop it and hoop on the other, and that will survive any generation.
Yeah.
But
Nope, Jordan.
But anyway, I feel like you can say that Jordan would be better with today's medicine and stuff. But the way I look at it is holding all things equal. If you drop LeBron back into the 90s, he's going to be like, Magic Johnson looks a little doughy compared to him, and he dominated. So I can't imagine what LeBron would do in that era. So
I tend to agree with you. I think you could transplant LeBron in any time period and you'd have a really dominant player. People that want to talk about the difference in officiating all the time between like the 80s and 90s always offer it. At least it sounds like to me that they offer it as if it was tackle football in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And like I know you can't hand check anymore.
yep.
And that makes a difference.
But can you imagine if LeBron was able to hand check on defense? Like that would make him such a better defensive player because he could just grab people and he's huge. He's a
Right.
big guy.
Did you guys make out yet? You and LeBron?
We're
Or
still
you
on
still-
Jordan v. Kareem.
Oh, you're still on your first date?
I think
you guys hold hands?
Yeah, seeds. For me, like, okay, what do you? So the competition thing goes into the GOAT discussion. Anything else like winning record, career accolades, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think, but to me though, the GOAT, it's such a weird thing because I don't really want to have the GOAT conversation because I feel like that could be Jordan, I guess, like
Yeah.
greatest, because greatest is such a loose term.
Right.
To me, it's most talented at any given second of their career.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you dominate for, I'll say a 3 month stretch is all I need to see. Like if you're in the NBA for 3 months and you average 100 points a game, I'm willing to say that you're the
Your
best
ever.
player of all time.
Yeah.
Might not be the greatest if you tear both ACLs later on that year,
Right.
but I could say yeah, he was the best player to ever play.
Yeah.
So I mean GOAT probably Jordan. I mean his resume is pretty impeccable. I mean he
Yeah.
could have won 8 straight if he didn't retire those 2 years. But I also think that you drop in LeBron, Kawhi Leonard, or Durant with Scottie Pippen on those teams, and they're gonna win those championships. So,
Well, yeah, let's do a dive into that because let's see. In '91, it was Bulls against the Kareem-less LA Lakers. Somebody look me up on this.
91.
1991. I'm pretty sure it was the Bulls v. Magic Johnson only. I guess probably James Worthy. Lakers. And I want to say the Bulls won in like 6. And then in 92, it was Portland. That would have been Clyde Drexler.
Clyde did glide.
Clyde and Duckworth and whoever else. I don't know. And I don't know. And then 93 was Charles Barkley in Phoenix.
Yeah, which that
Well, Barkley was their best guy. That was the year he won
Barkley's 6'4".
MVP.
He's 6'4". He's overweight. He
Michael Jordan won the MVP.
In 1993?
Yeah. Or maybe this was the finals MVP. No, regular MVP was, Charles, and then the finals
Okay.
MVP was.
Yep.
and he was largely by, like I've seen highlights of those games, and he was largely by himself, Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if LeBron got to the finals with that matchup, he's feeling pretty good. I think that the Golden State Warriors team from the first year of Durant, I think that's got to be. I mean, I saw Vegas pick them over the 01 Lakers by like 12 and a half
Jeez.
points.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I feel like they would be favored against. I think I did see like 2 years ago they did that. Vegas put a point spread on that Bulls team, the team that won. They won 72 games or
72 and
something.
10 or something?
Yeah, they did that, and Golden State was, I want to say, double-digit favorites against that team too.
Wow.
So that's Vegas. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
what their process is, but
Right.
they're usually pretty close. And I just think it's more threes are being shot at a higher efficiency. I mean, Jordan's going to go down and score a lot of twos, but the
Threes
more
beat twos.
yeah, Jordan shoots the most inefficient shot in the NBA of the long two.
Right.
So anyway,
Yep. Then let's see. 94 was Houston. 95 was Houston.
Houston
pretty sure.
with who? Who'd they
That's
have?
Hakeem, Olajuwon,
Kenny
and
Smith.
Kenny Smith. and
Nice.
I think was Robert Horry on those teams. I think.
that was a good team.
Yeah, they were legit. Because
Yeah.
I think in '94 they beat. I want to say it was like New York, or maybe because Orlando was in one of those series against them. Maybe.
Well, that's the other thing is Jordan left and the Bulls made it back to the Eastern Conference Finals. And then obviously when LeBron's left the Cavaliers, you've seen what's happened. I mean, the whole city almost goes bankrupt along the team.
Yeah.
One guy leaves.
Instant depression.
Yes. I
Yeah.
want to see that.
Then '96 was Bulls and Seattle.
Yeah.
That was the Glove and Sean Kemp.
John Stockton.
And I think that Bulls team had the second three-peat was the Bulls team with Rodman.
Yep. Dennis
Pretty sure.
Rodman.
Yep. That was a legit team. And then 97 and 98 was both times was against Stockton and Malone, I think. Right?
Yeah.
But I feel like almost every series was like 6 games.
They never went to 7, so I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jordan never went to 7 in a game or in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Vegas had, let's see here, games as 10-point favorite, games series price. I don't understand how to do playoff odds when it's like +1, like, but Chicago or Golden State was minus 360 for odds. I don't remember. I don't know how to read that. I've always just looked at the spread. So, but anyway, so
Golden State over which team? The best Bulls
the best
team?
Bulls team.
Yeah, that's the best regular season record team.
But did Golden State get that record though?
Yeah,
they did. But then they lost the
former
finals.
Right. Yeah, that was in 2016, I think. Yeah, because
it was that team. I think is what they were comparing.
Who do we got this year?
For
Who do you think?
NBA Finals?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Warriors.
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
That West is tough.
They've had a lot of team drama too this year. I feel like they'll get it together by playoff time.
Yeah, when you slow it down and add Boogie Cousins in the mix,
Yeah.
7 games, it's gonna be tough to beat them 4 times. So
Yeah.
I'll remain skeptical.
Yeah, the West is good. I mean, Denver is coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Monte Morris.
Yeah.
Yeah. Toronto is good.
Toronto is good.
Toronto's fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be rooting for anybody but Golden State.
Yeah.
It's just
About the East.
I feel like
Toronto.
or
Oh yeah, Toronto's in the East.
hope that Boston would
Yeah.
be good, but they seem to be kind of underachieving right now.
Yeah, you don't hear a whole lot of buzz about Boston anymore. But
I think Hayward's playing too much League of Legends.
yeah,
No, I just think that he's having trouble coming off that
yeah,
gruesome injury.
Yeah, that was. I watched that happen. That was
Yeah.
pretty disgusting.
Yeah, just folded over on him.
I saw another one. I think it was maybe a football game or something around the same time.
Oh,
Was it maybe it might have been a college game or
Yeah.
something because some kid effed his ankle up really
Yeah.
bad. It's like just broke his leg or something.
Oh, yeah.
there was one not too long ago, a college football game. It's a big game too, and guy just blew his knee out, and it was just like just flopping on the one side. It was like there's nothing there.
Yeah, man.
Well, Alex Smith just broke his
Or
leg.
maybe that was him.
Well, Alex
yeah, I
Smith
bet that
broke
was
his
him.
leg.
Yeah.
That was gross.
Very gross.
The ones that get me are like the Willis McGahee one where the helmet comes in at the knee from the front and blows it backwards.
Oh yeah.
Those are just the worst.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Willis
makes me wanna
McGahee.
just curl up in the fetal position.
That's what I always envision my dog when he's running at somebody,
Yeah,
blowing both their knees backwards.
yeah.
Here comes a lawsuit.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna kiss my knees tonight and say thank you.
No kidding. Makes me want to just wear those offensive lineman
Yeah.
braces everywhere I go.
There you go.
Yeah.
give me an exoskeleton for my life. Let me pick up a car and be able to jump over a 2-story building.
Iron Man.
I wouldn't mind an Iron Man suit.
That'd be sweet.
It'd be good. Should the government increase spending on public transportation?
Ooh.
Like a better infrastructure for planes, trains, and automobiles? I don't know. What do they mean by that?
Yeah.
I know Minneapolis could use another light rail.
Yeah, but I don't want to pay for it. Don't take my tax money because I don't use it.
In Minneapolis? I don't think it. Oh, did you say federal spending?
Well, wouldn't have to. I mean, not necessarily. Let's have that discussion. Should it be a federal program to boost rail lines around or something, or some other kind of public transportation?
I think the air traffic would have to be federal just because you cross state lines. But like, I don't want to pay for a monorail in Des Moines,
Right.
real bad, or in Minneapolis, something like that. But
Comes back to somewhat climate change, though, too,
yeah,
as far as.
I
Getting
see that going green or whatever. But
Well, and it's interesting. I mean, I think sometimes Europeans sort of scoff at the United States in some ways because, well, we can just hop on the train and ride from London to Paris and take the Channel and then take a train from there, and I can be in Romania in 10 hours or something. But the problem is, like, we're so spread out over here.
yeah,
And it's so sparsely populated that,
it's not
like
feasible.
a train network died out thanks to the interstate system. And that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Just too bad. I think that's one reason why Esterville isn't the town that it used to be in like World War II. And a lot of that has to do with I-90 being where it is. And the fact that we don't have 2 rail lines coming through town anymore.
Yeah, that was when we were in Italy. That was a whole new world. We traveled by train everywhere, from Florence to Rome to Naples. It was wild. Never done that before.
Well, it's pretty handy, too,
Oh, it's
isn't
very
it?
handy, yeah.
I mean, you just kind of get on, read a book or whatever, forget about it.
Yeah. Better than driving on the left side of the road.
Right.
For sure. Couldn't figure that out.
Yeah. I think I might have been on the last passenger train out of Esterville.
Really?
Yeah, senior night. Brought some train in. Like, God, this is might be as much as like 10 years ago.
Oh,
but
wow.
they had a train just for show. They brought it in and they like rode us out to Groover and back or something. Yeah, it was just for fun.
Nice.
Yep. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, trains go through, but it's always just back and forth hauling ethanol and stuff from the plant over in Superior.
Wonder where they take it though. Like, it's not just Esterville to Superior, is it?
No, my guess would be because the line I think goes over to Superior and then basically stops, and there's that huge loop around.
Yeah.
So they can like turn the train around, then they go back on the rail line east out of Esterville. And my guess would be it goes over somewhere else and meets up at some other junction, and then because there has to be some like distribution spots.
I think there is by east of Armstrong.
Yeah.
Yep, that's kind of a fading industry for sure.
My last job, I had to count. Well, what is it? It's not ethanol, or maybe it is ethanol tanks, I guess.
Ethanol, methanol, butanol.
Whatever they haul out of there. What's the end product? Is it just dumping ethanol in those things? Yeah, I had to go around and like bang on train cards, see if they're hollow or full.
Nice.
I had to go down a line of like 50 cars and do that.
What job was that for?
That was auditing. So it was a year-end inventory count.
Okay.
And essentially I kind of just took my fist and banged on an empty one and got the sound of it, and then I went around for the full one. So
interesting.
But I mean, that was a very like immaterial amount of the inventory was actually on the train cars, but the main one was climbing the elevator and sticking in a dropping measuring tape and measuring it at different spots and kind of getting the geometry of it.
Oh.
And then we had some program that leveled it out to say how much was in there.
Interesting.
That was scary. Like you climb up, it was January 1st, 7 a.m. in the morning, and it's just freezing. It was out in South Dakota. And I had to climb up a 100-foot elevator on a ladder. And I'm scared of heights.
Yeah, no way.
So I get up there and like you're leaning over this hole to measure, and if you fall in, I think you die. Like I don't know how they get you out of there, because I've heard they have like these suits to create airspace in front of you if you fall in, so you can breathe.
Oh,
but if you fall in, it's just corn. I think you just kind of you're done for.
Oh yeah. There's I thought you were talking about a different something else, but yeah, I think it's like the dust from the corn is what. Gets you, because you like asphyxiate.
Yeah, no, it's creepy. I was like, should I be leaning over this? And the guy I was with didn't seem too worried about it, but then the next thing was there's 2 of them. They're 100 feet, and by some great engineering, they like to get from one to the other. It was just like this metal grating bridge, but they have this freaking like box, like electric box in the middle. So I had to climb over this damn thing, shuffle across.
Jeez.
And then to boot, there was like an 8-inch gap that just went straight down to the ground. It's like, I probably can't fit through there, but why have it?
Yeah.
Like,
no.
So anyway,
couldn't pay me enough.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't like the first task I'd ever had from that job.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, you don't like heights, do you?
No, I can't do them. It was dark enough on the way up, so that was my only savior. Is I couldn't really see at the bottom. But later in the day, then I had to go up the silver, like the fatter, like the Sukup museum round.
bins, yeah.
The bins, and those are like staircases winding up, and they're 100 feet up there too. And that was the scariest part, just because the railing came about mid-thigh, so you're looking straight over, 80 feet when you get up a certain height, and it was a little bit windy, and so it was that was definitely the worst job I think I've ever had.
You would have hated the zip line thing that we did in Tahoe, I bet.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, I
conquered those fears.
Yeah, Kyle beasted that thing. It was.
How?
I was having a really good time.
Yeah, it was like Jim was like a kid in a candy store, climbing stuff.
You don't mind heights?
No, yeah, I always have liked climbing.
Really?
I'm not as good at climbing as I used to be. That's for dang sure. Just because I'm not climbing on as much stuff as frequently. But
You must just not think about the fall.
no,
Yeah, because that's what I'm like. If I fell from here, I'd probably want to die.
well, I sort of
I would be in
do.
rough shape.
I mean, when it's way high like that, like I kind of, like stomach drops or whatever, but I sort of just like it, kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's my dad too, and yeah.
Sometimes I watch like free solo climbing on YouTube.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's crazy cool, like climbing up El Capitan or something in Yosemite.
Yeah.
There's no ropes, no nothing, straight up for like 2 miles.
There's the one they call it I can't remember what they call it, but basically it's like the
Matterhorn.
Well, it's the one where they literally have to get speed on the way up and then jump to get
I
to
don't
the
know
next
what that one
ledge.
is.
And I can't remember what they call the jump, but this dude is running up with no ropes or anything, and all of a sudden he just freaking jumps like 5 feet and grabs the next whatever
thing,
next ledge.
Yeah.
And they call it some form of like the mount or the climb is really cool. What they call it, 'cause it's like something jump or whatever. But that guy eventually died. It was the Indian guy.
Okay.
I can't think of his name, but he had long hair and he's famous for it. But
I was thinking of Alex Honnold. He was a famous climber.
Have you seen those crazy guys that like are up on buildings and shit? And
yeah.
the building's like hanging off the edge of a
They
building.
do that a lot in Russia.
Yeah.
Yep.
it would be like a girl and a guy, lock arms like that, and then hang them off the side.
Yeah.
Dangling off,
nuts.
like up a 100-story building, dangling off the edge of it.
Oh my god, yeah, those give me the willies.
Yeah.
like,
It's fun to watch though. It makes you feel kind of alive. Really.
Yeah. Gives you an adrenaline rush just watching the thing.
Yep.
because they'll be up there and they'll run and then jump, run and then
Oh
jump,
my
and on
God,
the
yeah.
gaps it's just like hundreds of feet down.
Straight down. Yeah. Yeah, I like climbing, but not just totally risky,
Yeah.
foolhardy stuff. That's too much for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would need like a base jumping backpack or something.
Oh yeah, just fail safe.
Yeah, like then I'd be. I mean, I still would hate it, but
Well, you could I bet you could do the zip line thing because there was like no way to really fall off.
yeah, I'm not scared of the heights. It's definitely the fall. Like if I don't feel secure,
because we were harnessed in and attached to the line. But
yeah, then I'd probably be fine because
Yeah.
I would skydive.
yeah, I think I would too.
That's not really even a heights thing at that point, though.
Oh, you're so far up.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, and it's just like, well, if this doesn't pan out, I'm dead anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have fun no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, one of our previous guests, Ben Schunkweiler, who you guys know is a skydiving fan.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember him talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that would be right up his alley.
Yeah.
The whole skydiving thing. It was
Yeah.
he's got a streak about him for living on the
Extreme.
edge. Yeah, he's one of the most extreme people I know, I think. Yeah.
The first time you go, you have to go tandem. And
Yeah.
there's a weight limit, and it's pretty strict. And so my dad's been wanting to go for a while.
Is he over the mark or?
Well, because there's two of them,
Oh,
so I'm
yeah.
always telling him he needs to call and see if they have like a midget instructor yet. Strap onto his chest.
You got anyone under 90 pounds?
Just have Jeff stand up.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Dude, my face hurts from last
Oh,
night from
man.
laughing so much. Oh my
That was
god.
funny. Everybody make it home?
I think so. I haven't heard from Tyler.
What time did you guys leave?
There's some rough Snapchats sent on that group chat. I felt bad for Kirk Olsen. He needs to get off there. I feel so bad for the guy.
He's getting thrown in with the wolves.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Shoot.
Hopefully he can take it.
Oh, he doesn't care, I don't think. He seems pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know him too well. Is he the guy? Does he have kids in
Yep.
school or okay?
Yep. He's got a couple.
Right on. Is he? What's he do for a living?
Funeral home.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah, he is.
Right on.
What time did you guys leave last night?
I think right around
Oh,
you guys.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't stay very late. Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Dad was definitely the drunkest. We were on him this morning, just like, my God.
Did you send him a text this morning?
No, I
Jeff,
didn't.
I'm done.
That would have been the greatest.
I'll send him. Maybe I'll send him one now. Just get
Yeah,
everybody in
man.
a group. All right. Here we go.
I sent you one. I sent you a Jeff. I'm done at like 7:30 this morning.
I know.
Trying to remind you.
I was still sleeping.
Lame.
All right. I'll send
Popped right out of bed. Woke up Laura. Laura. She just goes, "No, it's not time to get up yet. Leave me alone." Okay, fine.
Jeff's probably sleeping. That guy, he sleeps all day. He sent in the group.
Yeah.
All right. Should marital rape be classified and punished as
jeez.
severely as non-marital rape?
What?
I don't even
Yes.
know that there was a distinction.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought they were all the same.
Yeah, okay, here's
Rape's
what it
rape.
says. Marital rape is non-consensual sex, which the perpetrator is the victim's spouse.
Huh.
Marital rape was not criminalized by many countries until the mid-19th century. In 1993, the UN designated marital rape as a human rights violation. Marital rape is illegal in Australia, Canada, Ireland, England, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, but it's not a criminal offense in China and India.
Or probably any of the stands. Afghanistan,
So-
Pakistan.
So I guess
I would
it's,
assume.
if you're married, then you can have non-consensual sex with your spouse, and it's not a crime,
Yeah.
is the idea.
Huh.
Well, I mean, to me, rape would be rape.
No matter what.
Yeah, I mean, you got your statutory definition of what constitutes rape.
Mm-hmm.
So then the marriage thing wouldn't even be an element to that.
Yeah, that's a nothing burger.
Yeah, in the U.S., I'm assuming it's not a thing.
Oh, I would assume it's illegal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think they'd even want to branch it out because then it seems
Yeah.
like it's a different
Yeah.
thing. And that
Yeah.
gets dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't quote the statute, but from my recollection, rape statutes are, that's like sort of like a murder thing where there's varying degrees and they
Yeah.
define it as like a, unlawful
Premeditative or-
penetration of, unconsensual penetration, with a sexual organ or something like
Yeah.
that. So it's like fairly broadly defined, but clear enough that you know exactly what rises to the level of rape. And I don't think there would be any room in the statute for the spouse thing to
Yeah.
move it around. But I don't know. Maybe if you guys got a phone, you could bring up Iowa Code rape statute or something quick.
I'm not Googling that.
Why not?
Yeah, it does seem.
You got the NSA
Oh
watching
my
me.
gosh.
I'm just going to see.
I'm sure there's plenty of other sketchy stuff on your browser history.
Nope. Clean.
Yeah. Just Pokemon and like magic cards
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Care Bears and
Yeah.
My Little Pony.
That's right.
The
Yeah, those were
criminalization
Bruni.
of marital rape in the United States started in the mid-1970s.
Oh,
And by 1993, became a crime in all 50 states
okay.
under at least one section of the sexual offense codes. So it does seem like they do kind of bifurcate that.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, that's weird.
That is
Very
weird.
odd.
I've never even heard of something like that before.
Ouch. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that could get pretty dicey because you have people.
Oh, God.
Like, there's a million scenarios, like if they were separated. And,
Yeah.
like,
Just be a bureaucrat or a legislative nightmare,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, and the whole universe of sexual misconduct thing is like a touchy subject
Oh,
anymore
yeah.
in the wake of the
You can't even
Me
talk about
Too
it.
movement. Yeah,
If you say sexual harassment, you're sexually harassing somebody. It's crazy.
do they do any like training at the
No.
school for any of that kind of thing? How about at your work? You have to,
Yeah.
like your HR department goes over
It's
proper
typically,
conduct or something? Or?
yeah, it's typically. I mean, my companies that I've worked for have been big enough to where we have like a online training format.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would say a couple hours a year on that.
Mm-hmm.
No, we don't. It's never really been a problem. I don't think that I can remember.
Yeah.
So, which is good.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no problem is a good thing. That or everything is being ignored.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
all getting
sure.
swept under the rug.
Yeah, that must be it. Well, I know I'm not being sexually harassed, so.
My first job, I don't know if it was my first job, but this was probably 10 years back. We were going through training, and we had sexual harassment training. We have a 10-minute break before our next one starts up, and a guy goes to me, a girl walks off and leaves her purse on the desk, and the guy goes, "Hey Dylan, somebody leave their purse, or is that yours?" And just starts laughing in my face, like literally like 5 minutes after we got through sexual harassment training.
Oh,
I just thought that was funny.
Do you guys think there's a double standard for what would constitute sexual harassment, male perpetrated to female versus female perpetrated to male? So in other words, can a female come up and grab your ass or something like that, and as a man you've got like less or no recourse comparatively, where
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, I mean, it's obvious that that's going to be less punishable than if a dude did that. I think, in my opinion, whether that's right or not, that's a different issue. But I don't think
Right.
it's going to be as severely punished as the
so
alternative.
is that the reality that you see, or
No, I don't. I've never experienced that. It's just from what I can imagine. It just in our culture, but
I think my HR department would
treat it the same?
treat it the same. Yeah. I mean, I think you have to.
Yeah.
But-
But that's in the workplace. What about just socially? What if you're out
Oh.
at a nightclub or something like that, and where you're playing grab ass behavior to some female would either land you in a fist fight or maybe get you thrown out or
Yeah.
maybe arrested or something like that. Where if it was the reverse, then what? Does a man have the same ability to?
I think they should. I just don't think it's socially. I don't think we're there.
Yeah. It's,
Right. Well, that would be the egalitarian
Yeah.
way to handle it, right? So, because I mean, to me, it certainly seems possible to me that a man could be sexually assaulted or
Yeah.
harassed or whatever.
Oh yeah. I mean,
But
possible.
I wonder if culturally that stuff kind of gets brushed aside because it's like, well, you're a man. You
yeah,
know?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
I mean, I can think of times in my life where people have been too touchy-feely with me and it made me uncomfortable. And I didn't really feel like I had any ability to do anything. I mean, because I felt like I just had to ignore it and just
Yeah.
sort of be like,
Yeah.
well, you know.
Did you feel like it was out of your control though to handle it?
Well, was I physically intimidated by the person
Yeah.
where I couldn't, like, oh, if it goes south,
Yeah.
can I not fight my way out of this? No, of course not.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the difference.
Yeah.
Like if it's a big 6'6" man and 100-pound woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah, I
know.
see that.
Jimmy's always felt he could take you though.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
It's true.
yeah. I've always just been so attracted to that luscious butt.
Well, I do a lot of squats.
Yeah.
And it's not for you, Kyle. I hate to burst your
Bummer.
bubble. Oh, man.
Well, how long
You
have
guys
been
had
going?
enough? Or
Yeah, it's probably.
Okay.
I was thinking 7:30.
All right.
I got steaks going on the grill at Taylor's. So.
Ooh.
Nice.
That sounds good. What? So, all right. Last question. What's your favorite cut of steak?
New York
why?
strip.
Okay.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's New York strip. I mean, I like all steak. I'm trying to think. I like filet mignon is like so good because it's so tender.
Yeah.
So maybe filet mignon.
Yeah.
Ribeye.
Ribeye. I'm a ribeye fan too. I like the marble.
Yep.
You know the fat mixed
Little
in.
fat
I like
taste.
ribeye too.
Yeah.
I like ribeye sandwiches. You know that.
Oh God, that's your go-to.
You take them. Are you a well done steak guy, Steve? Or
I'll do about anything, but I'm definitely more on the rare side. So
okay, yeah,
I'd say
good for
like
you.
medium is
That's
how
correct.
I order. I'd say medium is how I normally.
I want it
but-
right out of the package.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You
right.
too?
No.
Oh.
Disgusting.
Kyle cooks them into oblivion.
Yep.
I just so crispy puck.
It's like
That's
the
right,
same
hockey
color as
puck.
that microphone you got there.
Dang right. Beef jerky.
Man, yeah, I feel like I don't know. At the steakhouse in the city, they recommend medium rare. So, oops, sorry.
Put her on the podcast. Put her on speaker.
You don't want that.
Taylor, you're on the podcast. What? Click. Oh,
Yeah.
Kelly would do the same thing.
Put on. Come on, speaker.
Nah, better not.
Whoa, God.
She didn't consent.
So what? Iowa's a single party state.
Please text me.
I'm busy at the moment. Please text me.
If you gotta take a call, go ahead. I don't care.
Yeah. We can cut her off.
Yeah, all right, fine.
Well,
See you later.
thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Nobody.
If you had any viewers?
I saw 2 at one time, but
Nice.
by shrimp and nobody.